Good morning, everybody. This is Grant from State of the Spark, and I am so pumped to actually be here on episode number 303. And today, real quick, I'm super excited because I've got a lesson for you today that I've been learning intrinsically as we've been, pounding the rock and changing so much and evolving so much. And it's the one thing I think, if I could give advice to myself 20 years ago, or advice to any of you who might feel stuck or lost or challenged, it's my advice on the one thing I think you need to focus on in order to achieve more success. And man, if I could go back in time and tell myself this, I think I would experience more joy, more excitement, more focus, and more results much earlier on. I've been on my personal development journey consciously for almost 20 years, maybe 22 years. And as a personal development coach for 10 or 15 of those years, I have learned a ton. I've experimented with a ton, but I am here to tell you that I think there is one thing that you can focus on to experience more. We're going to be covering that today, but you know that before anything, when we do the Spark Show, when we do the Grand Spark Show, before anything else, you know what we do. Morning cup of gratitude. What are you grateful for? I want to hear it today. I want to hear what you're grateful for because listen to me and hear me on this. If you do not actually operate first and foremost with a spirit of gratitude, I'm not sure how you get by. I'm not sure how you see the rewards in life. I'm not sure how you create breakthroughs. So I think you have to start everything with a heart of gratitude because it's the threshold of receiving all the success that you've been working so hard for. And as usual, I will start with my morning cup of gratitude. Let's do it. Awkward way to drink this. Good morning, Facebook user. Not sure who you are. You're coming through as Facebook user. Drop your name so I can shout at you and say good morning back to you. So what I'm grateful for this morning is putting in the reps. I have done this is episode 303 of the Spark Show. 303. We did over 102, 103 episodes of Not Crypto Bros. It's Ryan Christ, I think Ryan Christ. Yes, maybe. Good morning, Mr. Sparrowhawk himself. So we've done, boom, he says, Facebook, other Facebook user says, good morning, star. That doesn't feel like Ryan Christ putting a sunshine on his messages emoji there, but maybe that is. I've done 102 episodes of the Not Crypto Bros show. I've done 303 episodes of this show. Not many of you remember. But before that, we did over 200 episodes of like Grant's Nuggets. And then before that, we did about 50 episodes of like the Rookie Missionary. Ryan Chris says, absolutely not. I would never use emojis. So Facebook user who's got emojis out there, drop your name so that we can give you a shout this morning. Ryan, you cracked me up. So this morning I want to talk about the one thing that I believe anyone starting out or anyone feeling stuck needs to realign on in order to get traction and feel success, because I think we're hearing a lot of advice out there. But the thing I'm grateful for this morning, and I want to hear what you're grateful for, the thing I'm grateful for is the fact that I have put in the reps. Jennifer Smith, good morning to you. Thanks for dropping your name. I hope you're doing fantastic. What are y'all grateful for? I am grateful for the reps. I know intimately that Ryan Christ has put in the reps. By that, I mean he's done innumerable amount of cleans of vehicles, and then he upgraded to RVs, and then he upgraded to like true large vehicles, and then he upgraded to planes and aviation. The man has put in the hours. He's put in the time. And when someone talks to him about what's the secret to this success, whether it's detailing or whatever it is, he can speak to that intrinsically because he has put in the reps. The same, I'm sure, with Jennifer and what she's been doing. All of us who have been putting in time together, watching each other on the shows, we know the difference that when someone steps into the room and they start talking about quality, but you hear things they say and you know they have no intrinsic understanding of what quality really is. This is a problem for many of you who are either stuck or starting out. And again, this message, I believe, goes back to my 20-year-old self, my 24-year-old self, who was lost trying to create a breakthrough, wondering why no one was listening to him. No one was buying what he was selling. So it's this one thing. So today I'm grateful for the reps. What are you grateful for? Drop it in the comments. Please take a second. Don't just let this moment pass. It's a moment for you to share out loud gratitude, and it will shift your state of mind so that you can receive more of what you've been fighting and working so hard for. Let's talk very briefly about other news before we get into this lesson, because I think this is very, very important. A few quick things. Number one, check out the Hot Sparks show this afternoon at noon. It was on Thursday. It is now on Tuesdays at noon. We're interviewing amazing people with amazing voice and amazing journeys. Today we have a wildlife with Dory. She has over, I think, 50,000, 56,000 subs, but it's not about subscribers. It's about how she came across her voice and started owning it to have a phenomenal account. Again, that's at A Wildlife with Dory. Dory Edwards, I believe, is her last name. She's going to be joining us today. Super excited about that. Join us on Tuesdays for talking to marketers, influencers, and what I believe is the future of messaging. And that's the area of marketing. Grant, why do you talk about marketing and mission and goals? How do those blend? Because I believe that mission and message are the coming future of marketing. I believe we have to have a very clear mission or message, or both, that people can engage with. And that's why we've been diving so deep into this on Hot Sparks Show with Nicole Bradham of Hot Mod Agency and the State of the Spark, or Grant Sparks. Also, we have several webinars coming up that you got to plug into. Some of it's marketing, some of it's influencers, some of it's content. Plug into the stream, whether you subscribe to Grant Sparks or subscribe to Hot Mod. DM us, find us. We'll put you on our list to make sure you're informed on all of the equipping that we're doing and making sure that you know what you need to know. Now, those are the first two pieces of news. The last piece of news before we get into the one thing I think you need to succeed in, it's this. Hello, the last time I reported on the price of Bitcoin, it was at 29,500. The last time I reported on Bitcoin, it was at 29,500, and right now it's at 71,700, hitting all-time highs. The last time I reported on Ethereum, it was at 1,800, and today it's at 3,900. Not financial advice, but I have been reporting on the markets for all 300 episodes, give or take, to inoculate you against the headlines, but to keep you informed, because this game is not just about money making. It's about financial freedom. We work so hard to hopefully give ourselves or the next generation a leg up. And you need to be informed about the markets, but also you need to be immune to the emotions of the markets. And right now it's at an all-time high. Do I believe you should buy Bitcoin right now? Do I believe you should buy Ethereum right now? I think you should be informed about cryptocurrency, because I believe in buying low and selling high. And anyone that's been in for a moment, they're actually looking at taking profits right now. Do I believe it's late? Not at all. I believe that the Bitcoin halving is coming up. We'll talk about that in some other show. Saturday morning, Jarrett on More Than Blockchain has invited the Not Crypto Bros again, Jarrett and Aussie. We're going to be back on the More Than Blockchain show on Saturday morning. Check us out, because we're going to be diving deep into our knowledge. And for those who don't know, I've been in Bitcoin since 2011. We know something about it. We're experienced. We put in the reps. We know about it, and you're going to be hearing from top-tier traders and investors and myself, a dollar-cost averager, on crypto on Saturday morning. Check that out. But I do recommend you continue to inform yourself. Do not just throw a ton of money in, but please know on where Bitcoin and Ethereum are going. Again, not financial advice. My financial advice to you is to become financially literate about crypto. So check us out with the More Than Blockchain show on Saturday, this one Saturday morning. But let's talk about, why do we talk about crypto? Why do we talk about marketing? Why do we talk about mission? Because I believe that you and I, if we were to be gut level honest, we are pursuing freedom. Yes, we'd like financial freedom, but we'd probably tolerate a little bit of location freedom. We'd probably tolerate a lot of time freedom so that we get our hearts back and our minds back. And so to that end, a lot of you, in order to chase success, you've been jumping. You've been jumping ideas. You've been jumping hacks. You've been skimming the feeds because this 15-second video told you the secret to life in 15 seconds, and you try to apply and you scratched your head and wonder why you didn't have total financial freedom, time freedom, or location freedom. If you're like me, you're hungry for freedom. And if you're like me, you've probably read a ton of books. You've probably tested so much. In fact, your spouse or your partner or your kids are probably sick to death of hearing you talk about the next greatest thing. I know that I'm sick of even hearing myself talk about it, but I keep talking about it because we keep making the same mistakes. So this morning, I want to encourage you on the one thing I think that I have found for myself, that if I could go back in time, I would deposit into my younger self on what I think I should have been focusing on back then in order to achieve more results more quickly in my path to freedom. Now, I've been fortunate enough to have been around lately a lot of RV life influencers and content creators, a lot of travel content creators and influencers, and they're experiencing a degree of location freedom. But as we know, location freedom isn't time freedom. They're bound to creating content all the time. And we know that it's not necessarily financial freedom. In fact, we hear from someone every single day, Grant, how do I actually turn my following into finances? How do I get off of these trade deals, collabs that are really just trying to exchange product with me in exchange for my audience versus paid deals where I get cash for putting stuff in front of my audience? How do I do that? Most everyone is searching for financial freedom, and we're trying every little life hack. And honestly, I believe this kills momentum. You know, there's a big debate going on, and that debate is the difference between quantity or quality. And a lot of the elite people and people that I respect, like Seth Godin, he's a marketer I massively respect, and he talks often about focusing on quality and the rewards will come. Focus on, if you're an influencer or a content creator, focus on the quality of your content and the rewards will come. If you're a website company, we have a website company, focus on top tier websites and the rewards will come. If you have a small business and you're struggling in sales, they say focus on the quality of the product and the sales will come. It's not true. It's not true. Now, this is tough to hear, and I mean this from an experiential place. We have run so many experiments, and sometimes if you get to know me well enough in our IRL life, I often refer to myself as Guinea Pig B. Buckminster Fuller, the inventor of the geodesic dome. The geodesic dome is what we know from the ball at Epcot Center. He was an innovator. He was an architect. And he called himself Guinea Pig B, and quite often I also borrow that reference because I allow myself in my life to experiment with so much so that you don't have to. I've done this now for nearly 20 years. I've experimented with pushing out quality and turning away contracts and turning away deals and turning away opportunities because I wanted to focus on quality. Quality. I got away from low ticket. I went high ticket, and we focused on quality, and the rewards will come. It's not true by experimentation. I dare you to spend 20 years experimenting, focusing on quality. Now, I have one caveat to this disagreement. I'm gonna contradict myself in this, and you're just gonna have to put up with it because life is full of paradoxes, and it's this. I do agree that quality brings greater rewards, but here's my caveat. How do you know what quality is? Unless you have put in quantity. The premise of my message today is this. You need to focus on quality. If you are stuck, if let's say you've had a lot of success, but you've hit a new plateau, if you're just starting out at 20 years old and trying to figure your life out, and you're hearing the gurus tell you to focus on quality, I want you to take that and say, okay, good advice, but your chapter 10 is not my chapter 1. And you're going to take that advice and put it on the back burner. You're going to put it on the slow burn. You're going to put the oven on melt or put the stovetop on melt and put that dish in the back because you need to put in the reps on the front end. You need to put in quantity. How do you know what a good sales pitch is? Well, you could buy a course. You could read a book. I've got a course for sale called the Unsales Course, by all means. Well, that's available to people. I teach people how to sell, but my number one lesson is this. You have to put in 100 sales calls before you even begin to adjust your system. Don't even adjust your pitch until you've made 100 phone calls. In Ryan Christ's case, you need to put in 100 details before you really start innovating the system. Now, at this point, Ryan has done tens of thousands of car details, and he has earned the right to change his system anytime he darn well's pleased. Not to the world, but to himself, because he knows the difference between quality, not because he woke up and just focused on quality, but because he focused on the reps. Here is what I want you to hear today, and then I'm going to give you 4 principles on how to focus in, the 4 principles of focusing on quantity instead of quality. So many people are so stuck that they will stay up an extra hour or 2 at night skimming their Instagram feeds because they are looking for a secret to help them get around putting in the reps. You think putting in the reps is the wrong method because all the messaging of the Insta life, and by that I don't just mean Instagram, the Insta life is the microwave generation. The Insta life are those looking for instant results. And we know in the back of our heads there is no such thing as instant results, yet we feed ourselves these nuggets, these nuggies of information that make us think that there is a shortcut. Here's the shortcut. Start right now. When was the best time to plant a tree? 4 years ago. When's the second best time? Today. When's the best time to start putting in your 100 reps, your 1,000 reps, your 10,000 hours? When's the best time? 4 years ago. When's the second best time? Right now. There are so many people who show up to the gym. I have worked out with workout partners many times over the last 15 years. And nearly to a person, about workout number 10, they all quit. Because they realize you cannot shortcut the reps. The one thing I have learned from my journey of Operation Find My Abs, 2 years ago, I started Operation Find My Abs. I have been doing CrossFit coaching. I have been a fitness junkie, but I have never had the aesthetics. And I've decided 2 years ago to focus on aesthetics. Now, I could skim the feeds and look for the right protein supplements or L-carnitine supplements or that certain magic exercise. But here's what I found by experimentation. I put in the reps. I followed all the hacks, and as soon as the hacks were not actually making any measurable progress, I went back to just focusing on what works. Diet, nutrition, eating a caloric deficit, and giving it your all, pushing past the burn point in the workout. And that done over a long enough period of time, guess what? I found abs. Go back into my Instagram feed. You will see my ab photos. Right now I'm on a bulk, so I'm a little thicker, and now we're getting back into a cut as of this week. But it's an immutable natural law of the universe that process is required. And no matter how brilliant we are, no matter how many inventions we create like AI, we cannot shortcut natural process. Business, I believe, and this might raise some hairs. You're going to disagree with me vehemently. You're going to think I'm absolutely crazy with the next thing I'm going to say. Put in the comments how stupid you think I am when I tell you this next thought, and it's this. I believe business is a natural process. I do not believe it's a man-made invention. I believe how monetary policy is managed is a man-made invention and tries to defy the principles of natural law. But business and value exchange itself are as natural as the sunrise and the sun sets. And to me, that means it is subject to to natural laws. And natural laws are, and one of them is, the law of process. And one of those is you cannot shortcut the reps. It takes repetition. It takes consistency. It takes quantity of repetition. So if you want more sales in your business, make the phone calls. Don't come up with a hack. We just got into funnels, and we're using funnels quite a bit. We're using funnels because we have put in thousands of cold calls, and we've learned what works on cold calls. We have maximized our output with cold calls. We've maximized in whether you're an influencer trying to get paid collab brand deals, or whether you're a small business trying to get service-based business sales, or whether you're a nonprofit trying to fundraise and raise donations. It's a numbers game. And whether you have a closing ratio of 80%, as I do with website design, or whether you have an average closing ratio of 11%, or 20%, which is the US average of closing ratios, just do the math, and that's how many reps you need to do. First and foremost, focus on doing it 100 times. So let's talk about the 4 business principles, A, B, C, D. Here's the 4 principles I think you need to implement today to get breakthrough. If you're stuck or starting out or have hit a plateau, here are my 4 principles I think you need to lock into your mind. A, B, C, D. A, accept. Accept that no one will do it for you and that you have to do the reps. What I mean is this. I have this phrase in the gym. You can't delegate deadlifts. You can delegate and work, and you think that business has hacks because you hire someone else to do it. But you can't successfully delegate in business if you don't know how to do the thing yourself, if you haven't done it 100 times or 1,000 times. You can't delegate a deadlift. Someone's going to blow out their back. You can't coach it to somebody else. So in the gym, you can't delegate deadlifts. And in business, you cannot delegate success unless you know how to do the motion. You don't start out from stuck to success by delegating it. You can't do it. I have seen so many small business owners hire virtual assistants, hire someone from the Philippines, and then they fire the person in a few months because they're just not doing it the way I would do it. Well, how would you do it? I don't know. I can't explain it. Sure, you can try to shortcut things by hiring a VA and say, good luck. Or maybe you have the money to hire someone better than you that has been doing it for 20 years. And in that case, you're not delegating the deadlifts, meaning you should do the deadlifts and someone else is doing it. You're just paying someone else to do what they would do anyway. But if it's your deadlift, and here's the thing about delegating deadlifts as a metaphor. You can't delegate the deadlifts, which simply means that if you have someone else do the deadlifts, you don't get any of the reward of the deadlift. You don't get a stronger butt. You don't get stronger quads. You don't get a stronger core. You're stuck. Someone else is having the rewards. So you can't delegate deadlifts. So when it comes to the breakthrough, you starting out anew, you cannot delegate this thing. You cannot hand it off. So A, accept that no one will do it for you. No one should do it for you unless you know how to do it yourself. And so no one else is coming. Boom. B, be committed to the reps. Do not start making adjustments to your system until you've put in at least 100 reps. You don't know what you don't know until you've done at least, for example, people always say, do I need, in the website company, people always ask, should I change my homepage? Should we start testing this? Well, let's look at the traffic on your webpage. You've had less than 50 visits on your homepage in the entire last month. Don't change a thing. Focus on top of the funnel. Focus on getting people in the funnel. Don't focus on changing your system. Focus on knowing how to reach 100 plus people in your sales business. If you're an influencer trying to do paid collabs, don't adjust your system until you've not only made 100 phone calls, but talk to 100 people. Have a little checklist right there. That's 1 through 100. And just check the thing. I've made the calls and I've talked to 100 people. Now I feel like I know something. And sometimes it's just I know that something's not working. A, accept that no one will do it for you. No one should do it for you unless you can do it yourself. And B, be committed to the reps. A, accept that no one's coming. I believe it so much I got the tattoo. Nemo Venit. It means no one is coming. This is my constant reminder that if I want a breakthrough, I have to create that breakthrough. B, be committed to the reps. C, continue, especially when you don't feel like it. Now, hear me on this. If anyone has seen my fitness journey, if anyone has seen any of my journey, you know that oftentimes the thing that separates me from me in the areas that I excel, there's areas I don't excel, and I'm not trying to preach to you from those. I excel in the area of fitness. I excel in the area of mental freedom. I excel in some of these. I excel in sales. I'm not a great operator. I don't excel there. I'm not trying to preach to you about being an operator. But personal excellence, I excel in. What I've learned is this. In the gym, people stop when it starts to burn. They start making facial contortions. They start complaining. They start groaning when it starts to burn. Muhammad Ali said he doesn't start counting reps until it starts burning because that is where the growth is. Growth happens when it starts to burn, and that metaphor plays true in your life. Growth happens when it starts to burn, meaning when it starts to burn, press in. When it starts to hurt, when you're picking up the phone, I ran a telemarketing floor in my early 20s, and every night, everyone was required. I had 40 people on my floor, and every night, each person was required to make 300 dials. 300 dials led to about 75 to 100 discussions. 75 to 100 discussions led to about 10 or 20 potential deals where you sent information. 10 to 20 potential deals led to 3 to 5 paid deals a night. When was the last day you spent and gave yourself a minimum requirement that you don't go to bed or you fire yourself if you don't make 100 dials in your business? When was the last time that you don't go to sleep until you've put out an ad that reaches 100 people that day? When was the last time you put in the time and said, I am not going to clock out? Because in my business in my early 20s, you were fired if you didn't make the 300 calls that night. No second chances. You dial, because we knew that dials led to discussions, discussions led to deals. Dials lead to discussions, discussions lead to deals. Say it again. Dials lead to discussions, discussions lead to deals. It's just a natural law. There are no shortcuts. There are improvements to the system. There are things like we're learning funnels, but funnels only works if we know the underlying sales process. A, accept that no one is coming and no one can do it for you. B, be committed to the reps. C, continue, especially when it burns, especially when you don't feel like it. So the moment you feel like quitting, as David Goggins has told us that from Navy SEAL training, Navy SEALs have done more experimentation in human endurance than nearly any other group. And the research shows that when your brain is firing and telling you, drop that weight, quit, you're going to hurt yourself, your body has only gone 40%. So your brain quits and self-preservation earlier than your body is capable of going. And they have learned that if you can just put in the muscle memory and tell your body to keep going no matter what, you can get a higher output from the body without breaking, in spite of your brain crying for you to stop. So A, accept that no one's coming, no one's going to do it for you. You can't delegate deadlifts. B, be committed to the reps. C, continue especially when it burns. And that is true in your business. That is true in your life goals. That is true in your relationship. That is true when you're pursuing brand deals. It's true across the board. And number 4, D, determined to stay the course. I have excelled in personal excellence only because I kept showing up. Do you know how boring it is? How painfully, mind-numbingly, soul-crushingly boring it can be when you've gone to the gym for the 3rd year in a row and see the same old faces lifting the same weights and they haven't shrunk their waistline themselves yet. But you still need to show up. Can I tell you how boring it is to eat raw plain boiled chicken for the umpteenth day in a row in order to get abs? Do you know how boring that is? When everyone asks you to go out for drinks and you're like, well, can I get a tea? And they're like, why aren't you drinking? You have to explain for the umpteenth time that you have goals and now you're the stick in the mud at the party. Everyone loves the results. Hey, look how good he looks. Look how fit he is. Look how energetic he is. Look how exciting he is. I love being around his energy. Oh, but he doesn't drink with us. Do you know how boring that is? Success is boring. Determined to stay the course, though, is the only way to show up one day more than anyone else, to show up one day more than you wanted to. Grant, how long do I have to go to get abs? Another day. Grant, how long do I have to go to see success in business? One more day, one more rep. How long do I have to go? How much weight do I have to lift in order to have a big chest? Another rep. That's how much. Again and again, until you get the reps in, until you intrinsically know the difference. Now, A, accept that no one is coming and no one will do it for you. You can't delegate deadlifts. B, be committed to the reps. C, continue especially when it burns. That's when the magic happens. D, determined to stay the course. And this builds up to my basic principle today. Everyone's telling you to focus on quality. And if you're focused on quality and you believe you have quality, but it's not producing results, then you don't know shit about quality because you haven't put in the reps yet. Well, Grant, I've done 100 reps. Well, the math, the natural law, the natural order of the world says you haven't put in enough reps, or at least you're not learning from each and every round. You need to learn from each and every rep and improve. You can't just be a zombie. Quality does deliver higher results. But if you think you're focused on quality and not getting results, you're not delivering quality, and you can't know quality until you put in quantity. So if you are stuck, or if you are at ground one, maybe you've had success in other domains, but you're entering a new domain. Maybe you're young and just getting started in your career. Quit complaining, quit looking for a hack, put the feed down and put in the reps. You know what to do. I am fully convinced everyone knows what to do. If you need a breakthrough in their business, you know what to do. I was just talking to a company in our sphere. We do their website, and they came to me and they said, hey, our team, our staff has been sitting on their hands for 3 or 4 days. We don't know what to do. How do we handle search engine optimization? I said, we can tackle all of that, but that's a 3 to 6 month cycle before that generates leads for you. What's your team doing? Well, they're sitting around. Why aren't they knocking on doors? I don't know. I didn't think about it. Why aren't they picking up the phone and calling general contractors, potential partners, builders? I don't know. It is so sublimely simple. It's easily overlooked. Now, that's no shade to this client. They're just used to thinking that, well, doesn't like marketing do that? Doesn't search engine optimization do that? It does if you've done the reps. But we haven't done the reps. We have no strength foundation. So I do all that to say, I do believe quality superior results in your life, but you don't know quality until you have done quantity. So if you want better results in your life, if you think you've been producing quality and you haven't been getting results, be honest with yourself and think, I guess I haven't been putting in the quality that I think I have because I'm not getting better results. And then you go back to the first principles of the thing and you put in the reps. And this should make you full of joy, and here's why. You should be full of joy at this, and here's why. When I say this, this should bring relief to you. Why? Because you shouldn't stay up at night skimming the feeds looking for a hack anymore. You should sleep soundly, put your phone down, turn it off, and go to bed. Why? Because you need a rested mind to wake up in the morning and put in the reps. You should be relieved that there's not some secret other people know that you don't know. You do know the secret. You do know that it's smile and dial is what we used to say. Smile and dial. Pick up the phone. Schedule that lunch appointment. Well, Grant, I don't know what to say. Pick up the phone and discover what to say. By phone call 30, I guarantee you'll figure out something to say. Phone call 1's going to be ugly as mess. When I have had someone come to the gym with me and they have never bench pressed, and I have to show them with their gangly body how to get onto a bench and lift that 45-pound bar for the first time in their life, guaranteed it looks ugly. But by rep 30, they know how to get in there. The same applies to anything that's subject to natural law. And I believe business is subject to natural law. Yes, there are tools that can help, but if you don't know the basics, you don't know how to wield the tools. I can't tell you how many people I know go to ChatGPT and don't intrinsically know their business first. They go to ChatGPT and say, how do I shape a pitch here? And they've never in their life even scratched the surface on that industry. And they think, well, this is a hack. Man, you look so silly. But you know what? If they put in the reps, that makes the difference. Then they actually learn quality and the shift begins to happen. Sales begin to happen. Breakthrough begins to happen. Muscle is then built. Muscle memory is then built. Put in the reps. Why am I talking about any of this? Why am I talking about any of this? Because I believe my mission as Grant Sparks, my mission is to ignite lives of explosive significance, and I believe you should too. I believe that you should have location freedom, time freedom, and financial freedom if you will put in the time. But so many of you are experiencing heartbreak and struggle because you're looking for some, not handout, but some hack. You believe it should be easier. Natural law is not like that. If you try to swim upstream, that's going to be a tough go. But you're going to make miles if you swim with the current. And I believe nature is flowing towards abundance. I believe there is abundance to be had, but part of that is jumping in the stream and putting in the reps. I believe you should put in the reps. So no matter what you do today, I believe you need to start today. Put it on your list to make 100 phone calls, to put in 100 reps at the gym, to write down 100 ideas, to, if you're trying to get a date, reach out to 100 different people. Whatever it is you're trying to achieve, give yourself a goal of 100. Don't come up for air. Don't change your system until you've put in 100. But listen, no matter what you do today, whether you're starting out, whether you're on top of the heap and killing it, no matter what you do today, please remember the mission. Igniting lives of explosive significance, starting with your own. Have a great day.